Hello and welcome to the Nilon Report. My name is John Nilon and I'm the Alumni Trustee to the California State University Board of Trustees. And the Nilon Report is intended to provide you, fellow alumni and friends of the CSU system, with updates and highlights of the most recent Board of Trustee meeting, which occurred on May 23rd and 24th of 2017. And we have some highlights that we'd like to talk about today, as well as a special guest. But the highlights we want to share with you are about legislative updates, some announcements and some news, and as well as a special feature, which will be our own special guest, our own alumni president, Poole. So let's jump right into it and talk a little bit about the legislative updates. First of all, we have a very important piece of legislation sponsored by the California State System, AB 422, which gives authority, permanent authority, to the California State University system to provide doctorate of nursing practice degrees. Now, this is important because we need to maintain a full cadre of well-trained nurses up and down the state of California in the future. By having individuals prepared to be those faculty practitioners, we're going to have an opportunity to keep our nurses trained and prepared to meet the ongoing and future needs for the state of California and to address what we believe will be a nursing shortage. Now, this bill will go to the Senate Higher Ed Committee in June, and of course, we'll be looking for your support. We'll talk a little bit about that more later. One of the most important pieces of legislation for the entire state of California, and of course for our CSU system, is the budget. And in May, the governor released his May Revise, which provides approximately $153 million more than last year's budget to the CSU system. However, it is $4 million less than the proposal the governor presented in January, and it is $171 million less than the CSU Board of Trustees requested from the state of California. Those dollars are essential. They're critical to meeting the needs of our system so that we can fully support the Graduation Initiative 2025. So the question is, what can you do? Well, we certainly would like to have you as one of our advocates. You can send letters of support, of course, for our doctorate of nursing practice. But phone calls, letters, visits, meeting your representatives are great ways to get the attention and the advocacy out for the system. And when you do that, use our favorite tagline this year, and that's called Choose CSU. Your voice can and will make a difference, and so we look forward to your assistance in these critical matters. And now I have some announcements, and I'd like to start out with a couple sad announcements. We've lost two of our former presidents. President Milton Gordon of California State University, Fullerton, passed away at 81. And President Al Carnegie of CSU San Bernardino passed away at 75. Of course, both of these presidents were loved by their community, by their campuses, by their family, and they will be great losses. We, of course, want to share our condolences with those families and friends in the passing of these two great presidents. On a little bit of a lighter note, we now have a new Vice Chancellor for Human Resources, and that's Melissa Bard. She comes from East Carolina University, and of course we want to welcome her to the CSU community. I was talking with her last night about the immense responsibility of being responsible for human resources for 50,000 employees and labor negotiations with more than a dozen bargaining units. Important job, and we're so glad that Melissa's with us. I'd also like to talk a little bit about our president, Elliot Hirschman from San Diego State University. Elliot is leaving, and he's going to have a new opportunity, and it'll start at the end of next month. We have an opportunity. We had an opportunity at the Board of Trustees meeting to provide him with accommodation for the great work that he had done over the last 6 years. So we're going to miss Elliot. We want to thank him, though, for all the hard work and the changes that he's made. And now we also had an opportunity to appoint someone in an interim president position, Sally Roush. And Sally will start immediately and will serve until the search committee has completed and we have a new permanent president for San Diego State University. Of course, we'd like to thank Sally for her dedication, long-term representative at SDSU, and we appreciate her wanting to continue to support the university system. And of course, we get a chance to talk about our good friend, student trustee Maggie White. She was awarded trustee emerita status at the Board of Trustees meeting, and she's been a great voice for the students over the last 2 years. But she's not leaving us. As she would do, she got elected to another post, and this is the president of the California State Student Association, so she will continue to be at the Board of Trustees meeting and continue to have a strong and powerful voice for the students of the CSU system. So we're very excited for her and her new opportunities. And I'd also like to talk about something that's outstanding, actually remarkable for our system, remarkable for the state of California, and this is a gift from William and Linda Frost of $110 million to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Now, both William and Linda were and are alumni of the CSU system. William, of course, from Cal Poly SLO, and then Linda from San Jose State. And we're excited that these alumni are providing such an important resource to our system, the largest single donation that we are aware of to the CSU system and maybe throughout the entire state of California. And these dollars will be used to further the work of the College of Science and Mathematics for undergraduate research. What an exciting donation, and we just can't thank them enough from the bottom of our hearts. And now we're going to move on to our special feature, which is an interview with Dia Poole, who is the Alumni Council President. And earlier today, I got a chance to interview her, and you'll see that interview in a few moments. She has dedicated her life to public service after graduating from California State University, San Bernardino. She's spent 34 years in public service in all three branches of California government, I should say. She served as the CSU Alumni Council, on the council for 15 years, most recently 2 years as the president, and she began as an alumni volunteer for California State University, San Bernardino. Her presidential term ends in June, and so I get a chance to talk to her about her experience, what's next in her life, and why she's motivated to do the wonderful things she does. So let's take a moment and watch the interview, and we'll be right back. Well, welcome, Dia Poole, Alumni Council President, to the Nilon Report. You are our very first guest, and I am so thrilled and pleased that you're with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me, John.
So we get to ask you some probing, detailed questions about your experience as the president of the Alumni Council. 2 years, coming to a close, and just from the outset, I'd like to thank you for all your hard work. It's been an outstanding 2 years. But you have a bigger story than that. You have a story of your relationship with your campus and how you were made in the CSU. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, John, and thanks again for inviting me. My story is typical of many who went to Cal State University, San Bernardino. You know, we started out as a smaller, more of a commuter type campuses, and many of the students were like me. They were full-time working adult returning students. Now, of course, it's different with 20,000 there and a lot more students on campus. But at that time, there were just a few permanent buildings, and most of us were coming to the university after work. But I think what made it such a rewarding experience for me, the faculty, they were doing the same thing. Many of our faculty were coming also from their jobs in the industry, and it just created a unique experience for me as a student, because I knew that I was learning from people who had a vested interest in me as a student. They had a vested interest in the industry that we were studying because they were part of that industry, and they would take their time after work to come and teach us at night. So in addition to them and the full-time faculty that were there, we had a wonderful student experience. And my colleagues in my cohort, they were working adults as well, many of them. So while it's considered non-traditional, it was very traditional at that time, but rewarding.
Excellent. Now, you've been on the Alumni Council for 15 years. You have been involved in various elements on campus. Why do you feel that's important? You've graduated, you have a great career, you've done wonderful things in your professional life. Why is it important for you to be part of the campus and of the bigger statewide system?
Well, I think it's important for the very reason that you stated. But for my experience at the CSU and graduating with my degree, I would not have had the experience that I gained. I certainly would not have spent the last 20 years working at the highest levels of public policy at the Capitol in Sacramento. And that was all as a direct result of my degree and the doors that it opened for me. And so I feel it's just my responsibility to give back, because everyone should know that graduating from the CSU, getting that degree, the experience that you get, it's just an opportunity that not everyone has, but it opens doors that are going to change your life. Our motto at Cal State San Bernardino for years has been transforming lives, because that's exactly what the CSU does, not just at my campus, but at the other 22 as well. And so it's important for all of us as alumni to speak up and let the students and their families in our communities know that the CSU is life-changing if you take advantage of that opportunity. And so it's our responsibility to make sure the doors stay open so that more students can come and have the benefit of the education that we had.
Sure. So in some way, you are transforming lives by your dedication to the system.
I hope so.
I
hope our all 3.3 million alumni. I hope we are all doing our part. And that's part of serving as president. The reason I wanted to take on that role is I wanted to make sure that alumni stood up to be counted.
Absolutely. As you took on that role, you also brought with you a theme, a concept that you wanted to engage with throughout the 2 years, and that was about legacy families. Can you tell me why that was important? Because I know we heard a lot of great stories about a lot of families, multi-generational graduates from the great CSU system.
Well, it's interesting how that just kind of popped into my head one day. You know, in San Bernardino, as with many campuses in the CSU system, we have a lot of families that are first generation. And my thought was, how can we be an inspiration to these families? How can we be a resource and a support to these families? And I thought, well, what about some of our CSU alumni who themselves had parents and children at the CSU? And we hear from many of our alumni on the council and off the council and their alumni directors that they are multi-generational, and they're involved with parent programs on their campuses and parent-student programs, and they are already serving as a resource. And so I wanted to just kind of make that an overarching theme that all of our campuses could embrace. And as it turned out, we just began finding second, third, fourth, we're looking for fifth, and there may even be some sixth generation CSU alumni. But we want to serve as an inspiration. We want to showcase to the state the difference that the CSU makes, that it makes a difference for generations, not just for the student that's going then. It's going to go on down the line, and we're going to impact the economy of the state. And more so, we want to even celebrate that we have a lot of faculty.
We do, absolutely.
Who are alumni and who are multi-generational. Even they have faculty their parents taught in the CSU.
That's a beautiful story. You know, you also brought to the point of the value of the Alumni Council. Now, we're hoping that there's some alumni watching today. Can you tell them what the value of being an alumni, being in the Alumni Council, and then maybe speak about the focused effort that you've led towards enhancing the Graduation Initiative 2025 through alumni?
Well, I think what we have to keep in mind as alumni is we are the representation of our degree. The value of the CSU degree is what we do with it. And so we have a responsibility to make sure everyone knows that what we are doing and the success that we've enjoyed as an alum, that comes from the value of our degree. And I think that by looking at the Graduation Initiative 2025 and by being a part of that, we have a unique opportunity to impart with students and their families, hey, look what the CSU did for me. Right. Let's see what I can do as an alum to help you become an alum. And I've kind of dubbed it as the Alumni Creation Initiative because, it's creating an additional 500,000 alumni, but we can play an important role in sharing our experience with the students and with their families. We can play a part in helping them prepare for careers. We're taking on, as you know, on the council, a number of initiatives to help students not only with career preparation, but with basic needs. Right. Because we've noticed that there are students who are food insecure, they're housing insecure, they're having problem meeting their transportation needs, and some of those basic things that as alumni we can do, we can help with. So it was important that we kind of partnered with the Chancellor's Office and the Faculty Senate, the CSSA, our Student Association, and all our campus presidents and partners to do what we can to make sure that we are addressing those issues and really demonstrating living value of the degree.
Right, and with 3.3 million alumni out there, the resource capacity is amazing. We just need to touch them, get them engaged, because I think they too will remember what it was like to be that hungry student or that student who was uncertain and needing just someone to help them move past whatever barrier that was. So congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. And who knows better the barriers
Right.
that need to be overcome than the 3.3 million plus people who have overcome them. And so I think that we have something to offer the students and their families. And then I hope that alumni statewide will step forward as these initiatives begin to launch on each campus and do what they can to be a part of the planning that goes into that.
Well, and it's that leadership which engages, and this is a great opportunity to engage many more alumni than maybe are currently engaged in helping others.
Absolutely.
So this is going to conclude your 2 years as the Alumni Council President. Of course, we have you on for 2 more years as the President-elect, but
Immediate past.
Immediate. Okay, immediate. I was thinking maybe we'll just recycle.
No, not going back there.
So what's on the horizon for you?
Oh, lots of things, John. As you mentioned, I do have some responsibilities on the council as immediate past president, but I primarily want to support Manolo Morales, who's coming in as our new president, serve as an advice to him and to the council in any way that I can. I want to continue with the legacy project, with recognizing alumni service contributions. A lot of times we overlook all the time that alumni spend, in addition to contributing to philanthropic efforts, but they contribute an awful lot of time.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to continue efforts to have that time and service recognized. I will just do whatever the council has for me to do. My president on my campus in San Bernardino, Tomas Morales, he has a long list of things he's been waiting for me to do.
Wow.
So I'll work on that with my local Graduation Initiative 2025 plan, do some advocacy
We
work.
don't want President Morales to be selfish. We want you to, the entire system-wide, so I'm sure there'll be some opportunities for you. But I want to again thank you for all your service, and I know your service will continue, and I'm just so proud to have met you and to work alongside you for these years, and I can't wait to see what the future has for both you and I.
Well, thank you, John, and we appreciate your service as the alumni trustee. You represent us well. We are just so excited and grateful for the work that you're doing on the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, and thank you for being on the very first guest on the Nilon Report. And we appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get to see you again soon.
All right. Thanks so much.
Take care, dear.
All right. Take care.
Welcome back. Wasn't that interview with Poole amazing? She is an outstanding representative of all the CSU alumni, and so pleased to have her participate. And we know that we'll see much more of her going forward. So what a great opportunity to spend some time with her. But before we sign off, I'd like to talk a little bit about what's really important for our system, and it's this time of year where we get to talk a little bit about what brings us great joy, and that, of course, is the commencement ceremonies. So we get a chance to welcome over 100,000 graduating students to the CSU alumni community. And we wish you success, and we want you to be proud that you were made in the CSU. Of course, we'd like you to connect with us and continue to be our friend. And you can find us at your different campuses, their alumni associations. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Made in the CSU. You can also look at our website address, calstate.edu/alumni. Lots of opportunities to get in touch, and hopefully you'll get a chance to continue watching this show and learning what's going on with your Board of Trustees, because we're made at the CSU. So in closing, we have our next meeting in July. I believe it's the 18th and 19th of July. We look forward to seeing you then. And our next Alumni Council meeting will be in August at Cal State University, Channel Islands. So we continue to focus on the graduation initiative. We look forward to your continued input and support. We'll see you then.